There is, a climate emergency, and that really is at the foundation of what we do.
The looming crisis of climate change is the challenge of our generation to fix.
I think it was President Macron of France who said, "There's no planet B."
Let us face it, there is no planet B.
The climate emergency isn't going away.
Every time there's a hurricane, there's a tidal wave, there's an extreme weather event. It's not software that solves that. Software needs hardware, hardware needs software. Clean tech is typically hardware.
You could argue that clean tech is becoming the only game in town.
Time is against us, so that's really what's motivating us, is to find and fund the best possible technologies.
That the ecosystem for investment is not as mature.
And this is exactly what Greenbackers is helping to do.
We have access to technologies that could really make a difference if they could get the funding that they needed.
The technology required to make that a reality has not all been invented yet.
The pressure is on us in terms of finding those solutions. The clock is against us.
The companies that we're dealing with today can make a real impact.
We want to try and get the planet fighting fit again.
That's what drives us in Greenbackers.
This sector is absolutely critical to the survival of the human species.
We're just trying to save the planet, one deal at a time.
The world has struggled for a long time with climate change and the need to reduce our carbon footprint. The world is now committed to net zero almost unanimously.
This sector matters. We've got to be more conservation orientated going forward, and clean tech can make a big difference in that. This is a $1 trillion industry in the making right now. We're in the middle of it.
Climate change is now, and what are we doing about it? There's never been a more exciting time to be involved in clean tech as in the here and now.
One thing that we see in the marketplace is really good technology companies and the teams behind them struggle to get financed, and then they get starved for cash. And what we're trying to do is catalyze funding into this space and get them funded faster.
For clean tech companies, the investment ecosystem is still in development. And as companies like ours and others in the clean tech space go out to the market to raise funds, the opportunity to raise funds is a little bit lower.
I think it's important to look at how much investment has increased in this space in the last couple of years. In the last 6 months especially, there's been so many new climate funds coming to the market.
There's a wall of cash out there, capital, and it's looking for the right home. And there's many, many businesses out there looking for money. And what we try and do is join those two things together.
We are an investment intermediary, so we sit between entrepreneurs who are working in clean tech or circular economy, and we arrange funding for them. So we find and fund investors for them. We ensure that those companies are what we would call pitch ready and investor ready. We help them present their technology in the best possible way to the investor base. So we're not just about money or raising money, or we are about preparing those companies to present to the investor base.
What actually distinguishes Greenbackers? You need to be able to go to folks that actually have a reasonable chance of actually investing in you. Greenbackers, they weed out all the rubbish from the outset. So when you actually come up to a Greenbackers pitching event, you know in the room there's only serious people there.
We settled on Greenbackers to help us with the fundraise. They impressed us for multiple reasons. Number one, I think the team there is very strong with Robert and John and Andrew having quite a diverse skill set, but a complementary skill set to each other that creates for a wonderful balance in terms of being able to provide strategic guidance to companies that are looking to fundraise with their support, but also give access to a broad investor network.
We were looking to find advisors who had experience in the clean tech sector. What attracted us to Greenbackers was that they had a track record in the clean tech space. So knowing which investors to approach that might be interested in helping us fund the business.
We choose those companies we work with really carefully, and we will only work with companies who we think can move the dial on climate change.
We receive a lot of deal flow, so we're looking for viable technology, we're looking for scalable technology, looking for economic technology. That's what our investor base relies on us to do.
We're pretty good talent pickers. We see probably about 1,000 deals a year. Not all of them are great. Some of them have the potential to be incredible.
There's quite an evaluation process that they go through in terms of understanding the business, understanding the team, understanding the technology. I think it gives you some comfort that they're not just accepting every opportunity that comes past them. And I think for investors, that probably gives them some comfort when Greenbackers approach those organizations.
Support is essential. It has to be meaningful. There's no point sitting around applauding people and telling them they're great if they're not.
We actually applied a while before we were actually accepted. So first time we applied for a pitching event, they said no. But they actually gave reasons for it, ways to improve our proposition. And we actually implemented their advice, because all of it was sound.
So sometimes it can be painful for entrepreneurs to hear from us, but always, we hope, done in a business-like fashion and with the major purpose in mind of helping them get to where they need to be.
You may not be successful. I wasn't successful the first time round. They didn't accept us the first time round. But take on their feedback. They want you to be successful.
If we don't help more and more clean tech companies get funded, get their technology to market, those technologies making a difference to the climate emergency, then we fail.
Our mission is to get ventures funded and their technology adopted through to commercialization.
Success is getting these companies funded in a way so they've got good investors, not just any investor, but an investor who would add a lot of value to their development. That means success for them, it means success for us.
Success is getting 1,000 companies funded and moving into the sector quickly within the next several years.
I most definitely would recommend Greenbackers. I think for companies in the clean tech space that are looking to fundraise, working with Greenbackers can help you improve the pitch to investors. And number two, the fundraising process, I believe, will be significantly accelerated for many companies in this space.
Extremely motivated, very seasoned, and excellent guys to work with. The whole experience is no nonsense. They just want to get you off the ground.
I think if you're an entrepreneur who has a clean technology business and are looking to find sector specialists to work with, I would recommend having a conversation with the Greenbackers team.